In this lesson, we've learned about brackets and dashes, what effect they have, and how we use them in our own writing. We learned that both brackets and dashes can be used around parenthesis, or additional information. We learned that dashes can also work in the same way that a semicolon or colon does, by separating two independent clauses. Let's go back to the tale of Anansi and the sky god to refresh our memories. Anansi returned the next day to discover that the leopard was trapped. Osebo was trying to claw his way out. He scratched and struggled, getting more furious by the minute, but the pit was just too deep. Here, you can see that the brackets are used at either end of the additional information, or parenthesis. And actually, did you know that brackets are sometimes called parenthesis? So why would you use brackets in your own writing? Well, has your teacher ever told you to add more detail to your writing? Or have you ever wondered how to include that additional piece of information in one of your sentences? If so, brackets could really help you. Imagine you're writing a non-fiction article about Kenya in East Africa. Brackets can be a great way of introducing extra facts or clarifying information. Kenya is a land of contrast, from wide-open wildlife reserves, the Masai Mara, to the hustle and bustle of the capital city, Nairobi. Kenya has it all. As you can see, the brackets allow the writer to introduce useful information in a way that is really clear to read, without disrupting the structure of the sentence too much. So what about dashes? Why would we use them in our writing? Dashes can be used in two different ways. Firstly, we learned that they can also sit either side of additional information, or parenthesis, to clearly separate the different parts of the sentence, much like brackets do. The leopard grasped onto the sticky web and tied it around his body without a second thought. But, as Osebo was hoisted from the pit, he quickly realized that it was impossible to move. There is a small, subtle difference between when we would use dashes and when we would use brackets, though. Brackets are great if you simply want to add extra information that is totally related to your main idea. Dashes can be a little more dramatic. They interrupt your writing a little more and can be used to encourage a pause for dramatic effect, or the creation of small moments of suspense, as we see in this example. The use of the dash encourages the reader to pause. The suspense rises as the reader learns that rather than rescuing Osebo from the deep pit, Anansi is actually capturing him. The use of the dashes helps build the dramatic tension of the moment. Secondly, we learned that the dash can be used to separate two independent clauses. Let's take a look. Osebo was a beautiful animal with a smooth fur coat and a wide smile. He was also incredibly dangerous. Again, can you see how the dash creates a brief pause that is just enough to build suspense? Dashes are also really useful if you want to link two independent clauses that show contrasting emotions or ideas. There was no other way out of the pit. Or was there? Here you can see that the single dash is used as a barrier between the two clauses. The two clauses show very different ideas, and this is a great example of where a dash can be really powerful, linking two ideas that are contrasting in some way. The dash emphasizes the contrast. Just a word of caution to end on, though. Dashes create interruptions. They encourage your reader to pause for just a moment, so you wouldn't want to use them all over your writing. It would ruin the flow of your text. Be aware of what they can do, what effect they have, and choose carefully when to use them. So over to you. It's time to master brackets and dashes.